Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to the southern Welcome to the southern wing of the Stink Bug Works, that super secret research and development division of Dr. Jet Laboratories, where we sit all around all day and we invent things and we make stuff and we produce unscripted, unedited, unwarranted videos, totally unrehearsed and off the cuff. You get something on the order of stream of consciousness, but not quite. Haven't talked to you guys in a while. I've been awful busy. I've had bronchitis issues. I've had, my little side business dealing with bureaucrats. It's just been a time sink. So I thought I'd fill you in. I'm getting ready to go to the pond, but the weather looks like it's not cooperating. So I've been putting this little guy in order. And the first thing I noticed was this battery tray was not glued in very well. Now, that's probably one of the easiest things for the factory to screw up in the first place. Because you got, Wing Lee, and his job is to glue these things in, and he's not paying enough attention, and he puts on enough glue to glue it in, and, it goes out. But then the first time somebody tugs on this strap, and boom, the glue joint's gone. So what I did is I used actual model airplane glue, which is, in fact, a solvent weld. It dissolves the plastic, and then the two pieces of dissolved plastic get oozed together, and then the volatiles in the glue evaporate, and you have one piece because they are, in fact, welded together. So I use that to glue the battery on. Am I going to trust the glue joint? No. It's technically called welding, but it's only close. So it gets straps, it gets jam foam. In fact, this is going to have a whole bunch of foam in it. I think what I'm going to do is arrange the foam in here in such a way that the high point right here, when you pull the top off, well, that's where my antenna will be. It'll be sticking up inside of here because I have plenty of room. This thing's going to get a lot of jam foam. I'm already noticing, little stress issues here. I don't expect a very long life out of this hull, but it's replaceable, and quite frankly, all these parts would just drop into another little high-quality German fiberglass or carbon fiber boat, and you'd have a little screamer. So my plan was to run that. Also going to run the tunnel jet. There's its batteries, its spare motor. This is 3,900 kV. I pulled the 47 out, and it currently has a 3,000 or 3,300. So I've got the lowest kV motor I can find in there at the moment. Speaking of the tunnel jet, you guys have seen Big B's, haven't you? Now, he took a little more stylistic approach than I did. And when I saw his, this is what it made me think of. A big, powerful locomotive, a streamliner locomotive. Or it also made me think of this. Huh? Does that remind you of the stylized canopy Big B's doing? I mean, down to the cheeks and everything. That's a 1937 Pontiac, Pontiac, by the way, just for those curious. The tunnel jet. I've been working on it. Still working on this. I'm now thinking how everything's going to come together here at the bow. I'm going to probably have a horizontal plate that holds this outer sheeting in, but I need to do something for this ride surface, and I can't have a stringer going through the motor and through the battery, but it looks like, you see I've got some little sketches here, it looks like I can get the battery in and out. I might be able to get the battery in here and fake it. This bulkhead has to be there. That's where the curve starts. In fact, all the curves start at the same place just to make that bulkhead mandatory. So, I'm still working on this, still working on it. It's going to be a while. I need one more part to fire up the laser. I should have it. Today is Monday. It's supposed to arrive tomorrow afternoon. We shall see. Okay, now. And this thing, I'm designing it around these airsoft batteries. So they're narrow, they can fit down, and I might adjust the ride pad to fit the battery. So I can nestle the battery in. So there may be some major revisions coming, but I think this is going to be the battery of choice. I like these airsoft batteries for these low-powered cats because you can get them way down in there and low. And that's the whole point of it. And speaking of low-power cats, I have this little guy, and I'll tell you what I'm running in him is these, again, I think are airsoft substitutes, but these are, Chinese 1200s, big 25C. But remember, this thing, I'm using 20 amp speed controls that have no cooling, and they work just fine. That's because I'm using low KV motors with, 3S moderate setups, moderate props, and I can run it wide open throttle all day long, and it doesn't scream, but it's fun to drive. So there's one payoff for another, and I just noticed an issue here. And the issue is one of my motor connectors is almost unplugged. There. Issue solved. Yep. So there you go, boys and girls. Just a quick update. Big B's back giving you meat and potatoes, and so I'm sticking with the salsa and guacamole. Now, one of my viewers, who I shall call Jim, mentioned to me that he doesn't like guacamole. And I said, well, Jim, for you, I'll give you a side of sour cream. So, you know what? I'll tell you a story. The first time I ever tried avocados, my cousin lived up the hill from me, a couple of houses, and they had a bunch of avocado trees. So I'm like 5 years old, and I'm hanging out in his kitchen, and he pulls out a piece of bread, and he smushes this green shit on this piece of bread, and then he puts salt and pepper on it and hands it to me. And I'm looking at the green shit on this piece of bread, or this piece of toast, and I'm looking at him and going, you know that shit's green. And he goes, it's good, it's good. And I'm looking at it and going, it's green. Oh, it's good, it's good. And so, he takes a bite of his sandwich and he doesn't fall on the floor writhing. And I say, oh, okay. And I cautiously kind of come up and take a little bite. And it's like, oh, that shit's good. I'll have another bite. So it was all what my eyes were telling me. It says, that shit's green. So that was my first exposure to avocados. My eyes said no, but my tongue said, okay. So there you go. A little story of the history of Dr. Jet. Until next time, boys and girls, jet out. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you a news flash. As I removed the motor to install some flotation in there, lo and behold, look what I found on the other side of the motor cooling jacket. It says Boat Gangs. Right there, it says Boat Gangs. And get a load of this. The motor mounts have brass threaded inserts. So the motor is not mounted directly to plastic. It's mounted to a brass insert molded into the plastic. This is a surprisingly well-designed kit. I'm surprised they're not more popular. I'm expecting great results from this, and I hope to share them with you soon. Until then, and once again, jet out.